What's up?
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Star Chasers Girls Talk Ball. As you know, it's your girl, Cravin in the building, Star, y'all. And as always, I got my girl, Star in the building. How you doing, sis?
Doing good. What's up, guys? What's up to everybody in the chat? Sports Junkie. Shout out to Sports Junkie. Y'all be sure to subscribe to Sports Junkie. We did a joint show with him and Angry Cowboys fan last week. That was fire. That was like a marathon show too. So y'all
Yeah, it really was, yeah.
check that out. But shout out to Brandy, John Jones, Jameson. Really appreciate all y'all being in the chat with us. We know there's gonna be more people flowing in as the show gets started, but really excited to be here. Y'all know what to do when you come in. Please like the video. If you're watching from X or Twitter, please come over to the
Yeah.
YouTube side and
Yeah, if you're watching on the Facebook group as well, make sure you come on to the YouTube side and show us some love over here. We really appreciate everybody coming through.
like the video, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channels if you have not already. For sure.
Yeah, yeah, and as we kind of jump into the show, and of course we're coming off this once again loss against our I guess I say as most fans maybe one of our least favorite teams, or definitely one of our most heated rivals in the NFL, 49ers. And once again, hit us with the L. And around this time last year, it was about week 5, and coming off the bye week, we spoke so highly. That's kind of something I'll say, me personally, not speaking for everyone, but just say me personally, kind of coming into this week, that was kind of my the thing I was kind of holding back on. I wanted to see how the team would kind of come out in this game, and they would, that's kind of the one thing we said last week. If they come out showing fight, and they end up losing, okay, that would be, or not okay, but that would be something that help me make feel a little bit better. I wanted to see how they would respond, yeah, how they respond coming out the bye week, and just what preparations that they did make. And the first half, we did see, we saw them, stopping the run. We know where Jordan Mason is over there, and
Mhm.
the system they have over there for running backs. Just the success that they have, especially when we saw their rookie. Not even before, even before, Mason, did kind of go down a little bit. He came back in the game, but he did go down. I'm not sure if it was the same shoulder, but he did go down with a shoulder in the game. And then when the rookie stepped up, I think I forget his name right now, but their fourth round pick that they were able to get, fourth round pick is kind of starting to hurt a little bit as we hear it kind of from week to week, right? But
Yeah.
running back that they picked up in the fourth round this year, and kind of gashing that middle. We see Jordan Mason kind of use some of that outside zone, and having a lot of success with it. He's able to run up the middle a lot, but their rookie was just kind of able to tear us up. Really, like I said, from the moment he kind of stepped on the field, was able to get a touchdown. Was able to kind of get kind of the game sealing play, if you will, when he kind of ran that play and kind of kneeled down and run the clock out. So shout out to him, shout out to the 49ers once again, being successful, making adjustments in the second half. I mean, we saw, and that's kind of one thing we were talking about offline before we jumped on here, me and Star, about Cowboys coming out in the third quarter, kind of shaky in some of these games, leading up even to this game, and once again coming out shaky, interception on our initial drive coming out. It leads to such a bad taste in your mouth, and hopefully, and I see a lot of talk this week about, is Dak the problem? Does Dak need to do this? Dak need to do that? And I know other organizations kind of go through that talk a little bit and question. Well, actually, now I'm not gonna say that, because not now week to week. I feel other organizations have questions about their quarterbacks, but I don't know if I see it as much as on a week to week basis. With Dak Prescott, but well, kind of just getting back to the game in general, I just like that in the first half, the team did show some fight, but it just turned a little bit. In the second half. What's your thoughts on this, sis? Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like Patrick Mahomes literally has more interceptions right now than touchdowns, but nobody gets them because they're
Right.
still, you know what I'm saying? But I think somebody put it on Twitter too. They were like, if we were 7-0, would people care if Dak had more interceptions than touchdowns? I was like, absolutely they would. They would be saying he's trash, he's dead weight. We shouldn't have paid him that $62 million. Like,
Exactly. It's a supporting cast doing it. It's not Dak. It's everyone else doing it. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what they would say. But because it's Mahomes, or even when it was Josh Allen, and they basically had to say, Josh Allen, we're only letting you pass the ball 10 times a game because we can't afford to lose another game because you turn the ball over.
Exactly.
Even with that, nobody was calling it out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was saying, "Oh, they made him a game manager" or anything like that. It was just
Exactly.
like,
They don't even call Purdy that, and not saying Purdy isn't. Not saying I think Purdy is a game manager, but even prior to his main weapons going down, they not saying they do most of the work, but they that's what they're known for, right? Having yak yards, producing after they catch the ball. George Kittle, you know what I'm saying? Debo, you know what I'm saying? Just name a few guys. Even Ayuk before he went down, he's known for his his ability after the catch. So not saying, like I said, not saying any of these quarterbacks are game managers, but they do have the weapons to help them out. They
right,
do
they
have
have the weapons, they have the
ability to work
running
after the catch.
able to block things up. It's just a lot of factors that go into a quarterback's play. Because the
Right,
quarterback is actually the most dependent player on your football team, right? Because he's dependent on the offensive line being able to block. He's dependent on his wide receivers being able to catch balls. You know what I'm saying? And get
right,
situations. So there's a lot of dependence that a quarterback has that people don't really realize. That's why it's so dumb, to put everything on a quarterback. Shout out to Cole Cowboys,
right. It
another
was
great
good.
content creator. Y'all subscribe to his YouTube channel. But overall, I mean, this is how I feel about the game. Like, one, it was 100% a very, very winnable game. I agree with Randy. It was 100% uh, a winnable game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Obviously, I felt like if we just had to consistently stay with the run through the third quarter, we
fact.
win. The issue is right after Zeke had that good drive, he scores a touchdown. We didn't see Zeke again till the middle of the third quarter. Why?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't really make sense. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
that's how we were able to get a flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so in the third quarter, and the first interception that Dak threw, that wasn't a decision making issue. Turpin was open. Yeah, Turpin was open, but Dak literally is getting hit like mid throw, which affected his.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was a bad decision. So to answer Brandon, so she's like, "What is he seeing?" I mean, he was open. He literally had to step on the guy, and it would have been a touchdown if Dak was able to step in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what your quarterback needs protection. And then on top of that, then you bring in now the second interception. That was Dak's fault because
Yeah.
you just throw that away. You know what I'm saying? I saw what Dak saw, which he was just trying to pop it over the head of Lenore. Lenore first
Mhm.
jumped like 20 feet in the air. Like,
Yeah.
go watch the play. He
Yeah.
jumped like a freaking spider monkey. But Dak was trying to pop it over Lenore's head because there was nobody behind. If CD caught the ball, CD would have been able to get a whole lot of it. So
Yeah.
that's where it's just a judgment thing of I know in those moments you're trying to make a play, but it's better to just throw it away sometimes and live to see
Yeah.
another. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Because on some of these downs, and kind of, for me, it kind of goes back to some of the play calling. Like some of these plays do make sense, but it's timing, right? Like the long shot to the long shot to Turpin is like okay, we appreciate that, but at the same time, it's like for me in the first quarter, why are you pressing it down the field that much down the Turpin on the long bomb? Like I said, I love the play call. Even at the end of the game, I love that. I love the play call, but it's just unfortunate that Turpin dropped it. Like if Turpin had caught that, and of course it goes out into the play ensues to where we get a touchdown, the lead, whatever, tie the game, whatever, we won't be talking about it, right? But it's just like, it's just, Turpin top the ball, you know what I'm saying? So,
my issue with the play was it seemed like it was just a stick play basically because everybody else was just not even really running routes. It looked like everybody else was just on like stick routes, and then you got Turpin going up the sideline. And I like Turpin a lot. I like him.
yeah,
I think that he's got, blazing speed, and I get what the coaches were trying to do,
yeah,
which they were trying to make Turpin a threat, right? Because they're trying to get these defenses to back off, you know what I'm saying? So that you
yeah,
can run the ball better and all that type of stuff. And just so that you can have the defense thinking a little bit more.
yeah,
But it's like if we want to stretch this field with Turpin, like stretch the field with crossing routes, stretch the field with post routes, stretch the field with seam routes.
yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm sure everyone saw the middle of the field was wide open.
Yeah,
The
it's
middle of
like
the
the
field
middle
was
of the field wide open.
open.
You're not attacking it, Mike. And then it's like you're trying to throw a deep sideline contested catch to a 5'8" Turpin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't really make sense logistically. And who's been your contested catch person? It's been Jalen Tolbert. So I'm like, Jalen Tolbert has caught many pat, including last year, those deep sideline throws.
Right.
He just won a game for you 2 games ago.
Right.
So that's what I don't get with Mike. It's like, Mike, I get this. I don't really the constant change of the personnel and we trying to do this. So, like you trying to outsmart, but really you're just kicking yourself in. You're shooting your own self in the foot. You
Right.
know who you have on that team that can run that can get that type of catch, and then you do it twice with the game on the line. Like that just doesn't make sense.
Right, and speaking of repeating plays, like I saw that a lot through the game. Like a lot of this, like a lot, I'll say even a lot of Ferguson's plays, just a lot of those plays to the right, out to the flats. They're going to catch that every time. Like Ferguson, and when he's one of our yak guys, and he's not able to use his yak ability with some of the plays that Mike McCarthy is drawing up for him.
Like that's not like the screen was beautiful. When we used that screen that we used with Fergie was beautiful. But Mike, the lame rollout, everybody can read that. They know that. Like, stop doing that dumb stuff. Stretch the field with Fergie. Have him run some drag routes. Like,
Right,
help us out. It's like, Mike, you're not scheming for the right guy. That's how I feel like. Like Turpin, you use him like we use Turpin good. Like you use him on end rounds, short screens, or like I said, if you want to do like a deep cross or a deep post, that's great for Turpin, right? But when you know you need these contested sideline catches, like you go to your trusted target, you go to the target that's been showing consistently that I can catch these types of balls. It's the same thing in the red zone. Like when we threw that pass to Brevin Spanford, everybody say, "Oh well, he's 6'8". I'm like, "Yeah, he's 6'8", but he's green, and this is a big game."
right,
Like he's not even a possession wide receiver. Like if we want to be honest, I mean, not at this point. He's more of a blocker, and you can get him in the flow of the game because you can use him like you did out the backfield, like at Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But
right,
try to make him have a contested catch in the red zone in the end zone where he's got to go up over 3 to 4 guys. Like be for real. This is
right,
what I'm talking about. It's like use your personnel in the best way. And I really feel like one thing that we're not doing is like you're not scheming for Jake Ferguson consistently. You're not
at
scheming for
all.
Jalen Tolbert. Why does Jalen Tolbert all his catches gotta be him just happen to win outright? Like you're scheme for CD. I've seen you scheme for Turpin. Then I've seen you scheme in the Lions game. You go back and watch that. We were scheming for Jalen Brooks.
Yep.
I'm like, what the hell? Like, why wouldn't you need to scheme for your best players and
Right.
make your best
And
player the progression of the play? Like, don't make your best player the fourth or fifth read. That's dumb.
right. And actually, speaking of Jalen Brooks, I figured if anything, outside of a Terp, that he would be the one that you would, if you're not going to use Tolbert. I'm saying that Jalen Brooks might have been the one. Because, I mean, we seen that in preseason, and I'm not saying it's a fail safe. But if we're looking, and we kind of said that, throughout the season, or I would say throughout last season, where, we're looking for someone to replace Gallup, right? That X receiver down the field who can make the big contested catches. And we've seen that from Jalen Brooks. We saw that. I think it was, I don't know if it was the Steelers game or the Giants game where he caught that tough pass in the middle, took that big hit, but I think converted the first down. Or
But I'm about to be honest with you because I don't think Jalen Brooks is ready. I don't think he's ready because
I I, I understand.
when
I
you
understand. I
yeah, I'm
understand.
like when you look at it's just not it's not going well. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's not
Or
getting.
even not saying it's solely him, but I'm saying like even Ryan Florno. I mean, both of them had snaps last night. I'm just saying if you're looking for someone down the stretch, not saying not necessarily Turpin. I would look for someone outside of Turpin because like you were saying, Turpin having being smaller size and not being great. I mean, he has a hard time maintaining the ball when he has the ball in his hands. We saw with the fumble.
Right.
Thing. So going down the field with with a receiver like Turpin, you know what I mean? So like you have a floor nor you're trying to get revved up in the game, and he had a big preseason game. Granted, it was preseason, but with the Raiders, you got him a lot of work. You're trying to get him worked into the game. I know that may be a big moment for someone you're trying to get worked in. So I understand maybe why you don't go directly to floor nor even a Jalen Brooks, but with Brooks just kind of getting revved up, I figured just another receiver option outside of Turpin. You know what I'm saying? Because just him not being, or even like I said, like we were talking about before, just the middle of the field being open, and we saw them take shots with Turpin in the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, even with the screen with Ferguson, just kind of finding some of those soft zones where there may not be coverage. Because we saw that a lot, even when they were going towards when they had that one play go to the sideline. When I think maybe Turpin and Brooks or those two receivers in the same area, there was no 49er in the middle of the field. All that middle in between the numbers was just open. So it's just like it's just these play calls that McCarthy has at these wrong moments, and as far as matchups, you know what I'm saying, I just don't think that he takes advantage of those at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like some matchups you're not taking advantage of, and then you just have people out of position. That's what I'm saying. Like there's two people that have caught these deep sideline passes: CD Lamb, Jalen Turk.
Right,
You know the answer. Like it's not really hard. So stop trying to experiment. Okay, let's put Turpin over here. Like why he ain't never
right.
ran those types of routes for us? So why all of a sudden we
So
force
Mixie.
hey DC, why all of a sudden will we be forcing him in those types of situations? It just
Right,
doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brooks, I think he just Jalen Brooks, a lot of time he's tripping over his own feet. I just think that it's just a lot.
right. Or the defender, like yeah, it's so many plays. I see what you mean on that.
It's just a lot. He's just a really super young wide receiver.
Yeah,
Not really having the best. He's not really reliable. His catch percentage is not high. He
right,
just, he's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want to figure out a way to let's limit his snaps like Michael Gallup and kind of keep him off the field. That's how I feel
yeah,
at this point. Like, let's just kind of limit him because to me, he's on the field too much. Like, he's on the field
right,
too He's not really ready for these moments, and Dak is going to him because if he's going through this progression or whatever, he sees him in the middle of the field, he's trying to go to him, and it just seems not to be working out. And I'm
yeah.
like, we're just not scheming for our best players. The only person that we scheme for consistently is CD Lamb. Now they're trying to scheme for Turp, but I'm
Turpin,
like,
yeah.
Turpin is a gadget wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you need
Yeah.
to scheme for your best guys, Mike, and then you use Turpin in there. You mix him in there, but you can't make Turpin wide receiver two. That's not
Right, right, and to your point about scheming for players, like one weird thing I see for this year is Lipke. We've been hollering for Lipke to get more involved, and I know Lipke is favored by Dak, favored by McCarthy. He
lip
received great praise. You know what I'm saying?
eliminate
He was being schemed for last year, so why not this year? You know what I mean?
another thing like Lipke. I forgot about that because I was like, why the hell has Lipke all of a sudden for the past two games gone non-existent?
Ghost, right,
Like, what are we doing, Mike? Like, you have the answers. You have the players that have been showing up. Use those players. Use the players. We're in a time where we're in a desperation mode. Our
right, right,
our defense is completely depleted. We don't really have time right now to be experimenting. We just don't have
right.
that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like use your reliable guys that you know you can trust and depend on. And you have guys that have been showing up for you, but you're making it harder, like you said with Ferg. Like scheme for Ferg to help him get open.
Since
Scheme
I am
over.
I'm
Like
so like we just seeing, and especially with this past weekend being tied, tied National Tight End Day, all that. And not saying that I expected. I mean, when you see our organizations literally, or so I'll say, coaching staffs literally planning for their tight end, because we know that not all tight ends get the same love. So I mean, not saying we have to follow the trend, but why are we just seeing a lack of scheme for Jake Ferguson? I'm tired of Ferguson really literally being, and I know the O line is having struggles, but that should not be an excuse for
right.
Jake Ferguson not getting scheme as much, because
Like,
we're
you can
since he's taking a lot there. I know that the line needs but he's taking a lot. I saw a couple plays in the Niners game where, of course, it's Bosa, he has to hold off Bosa, but by the time he goes out, to the middle, to find the soft zone. It's like not that he's running slower jogging, but I mean, I know it was like third, fourth quarter, so I know it was late in the game, but his energy is spent. You know what I'm saying, at that line. So what you can not saying you can't expect him to do more because of course it's part of his job, and that's the tight end job. They're expected to help the line, things like that, but.
Sam,
He's being extra worn down. He's being extra worn down.
yeah, because it's like you got to send Ferguson on route. Like the 49ers literally won the game. They didn't win the game because of their rookie running back, although he helped them. They
Right.
won the game because they started targeting Donovan Wilson with George Kittle.
And the sad part is that Chris Collinsworth pointed it out in the first quarter. In the very first quarter, he pointed it out and said, "Hey," and they weren't even doing it yet. He pointed it out in the first quarter. He said, "Hey, keep your eye on this." And they weren't even. And Purdy wasn't even passing to him. He would just say, "Hey, take a look."
And then
Kittle
they
went out, and it wasn't even being targeted, but he saw just how off Donovan Wilson was, and Kittle just kind of gave him a little block, just kind of show like, "Hey, just because I think the running back had the ball," but it's just like. They saw that early on. So when they started, like I said, they started hammering it home in the third, fourth quarter, and just time and time again, we see Donovan Wilson being thrown off. We see him behind, and there was even, just in my opinion, one point where he could have came up for the interception. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that far off the ball, and you could. He's one known to watch the quarterback's eyes, right? If you're one known to watch the quarterback's eyes, he could have stepped up and got at least the first time where they targeted Kittle when they first started targeting him heavy. He could have stepped up for the interception. I think that could have been a game changing play and maybe a way to kind of turn his game around for the season because he hasn't been playing that great, but. I think that was a really great moment that could have been for him because he had enough space. Just in my opinion, he had enough space to kind of step up in front of Kittle and make that play.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Donovan Wilson just can't do it, and this is what we was concerned about. You know what I'm saying? Uh, He is a guy that you want blitzing, a guy that you want kind of coming downhill and hitting people. You don't want
Right.
him living in coverage. I've said this multiple times. Like you don't want Donovan Wilson living in coverage. That is not his expertise. He's not fast at all.
Right. Right.
Like there's so much disadvantages. There's tons of disadvantages of having him in coverage. And Zimmer, for
Yeah.
you to see that they were picking on him and you didn't do anything about it, that's what's really frustrating. Because it's like we're trying to win games. Like this isn't about.
Right.
And I don't care what Jerry said. If, bruh, you started Donovan Wilson whole game, but if you see, all right, they're picking on my guy, I've got to make an adjustment. It's really that
Facts.
simple. Like I
Facts.
don't these coaches going. I don't know what's happening, but what happened? What happened? I said before the game that this was going to be a very hard game for us to win, and I said it's going to come down to the coaches because these coaches are always getting out coached
You
by
absolutely
the
did. You absolutely did. I saw that tweet.
once again we got out coached. It's just that simple. Like we got out coached. We both were
Facts.
facing injury. We were in full control of that game in the first half, full control. And then we just let it turn to shit in the second half, in the third quarter specifically.
Yeah.
Because both coaches to me, Mike and Zimmer, both of the Mikes, they wet the bed. They wet the bed. And Mike even said, like, yeah, you know, they keep saying in the media that they get nervous play calling. Like, why do y'all keep saying that? Because Mike was like, yeah, that a lot of my play calling, decision making was because of the line and da da da. So it's like, Mike, stop telling us. So y'all just keep telling us, yeah, we froze up. We froze. It's
Right, right, and then the constant. I hate to say constant, but we either had bad practice or we had bad communication, or our first 15 didn't go well. It didn't go well. It's just like, damn, like where did the adjustments come in? You know what I'm saying where does it start coming into where you start fixing these problems? Where if you notice, and we kind of spoke about this, right? Just kind of we're talking about the coaching staff and the coaches. That's something we spoke about before we hopped on here. Speaking about Dak possibly not taking over, quote unquote, but we saw, kind of the keys of the offense being put into his hands last season. And I kind of thought about this. This is my thoughts here. I didn't talk to Star about this just yet, but my thing was, CD kind of spoke about how him and Dak kind of, got together over the bye week, kind of got some things together, spent time, kind of honed it on the details, got some things down. I'm kind of at the point where if they still have the want in them, still have the want to to lead this locker room. CD spoke about being a leader on the football night in America. On there talking about leading the wide receiver room. Okay, You spoke about it last season, Michael Parsons as well. So they spent the time together. I just want to kind of not necessarily for them to go rogue or anything like that, but you know, we've seen multiple games where they kind of get in the spot where they kind of get behind, where we clearly see times where Dak is kind of pressing to get the CD. You know what I'm saying? Where CD is trying to do his best to be open for Dak, but he's just being covered, right? So I just want to kind of see them maybe go into QB1, wide receiver one mode, where you just kind of hone and maybe have some plays in your back pocket or some things that you two put together, that you kind of explain to the rest of the line. Of course, everyone is kind of aware of, but just kind of some things where we work this out when we kind of get in like not desperation mode, but coming when we kind of get behind and kind of getting some of these desperate, come out in the third, coming out slow in the third quarter, we can just kind of get things going right. Like there's some things that that they worked on, and they can kind of just take the leadership, but kind of just take not take leadership of the locker room away from Mike McCarthy, but just kind of say, hey, sometimes when they have those player only meetings, like say, we need to do this, or we need to run this when we're in desperation mode, or we need to, come together to do, run this type of play, or, this one that we can all get on the same page with. If we don't necessarily agree, and not saying go against Mike McCarthy, but say, man, like, I want to do this, and they say they have a close relationship, Dak and McCarthy, but if they have such a close relationship, there shouldn't be so much of a butting of heads. Like you mentioned earlier, so like, it's one thing to say it's on McCarthy with play calling, but like you said about Dak, if this is your eighth or ninth year in the league, sometimes there got to be a time where you step up and take that role as leadership. I mentioned to you, Star, about Rodgers telling LaFleur when he was still with Packers, hey, run the ball here. I'm saying, do this. I think this will work. Do this, do that. Like I said, not coming at the coach like maybe Rodgers may in the particular situations, but just kind of taking that leadership role. Like, you guys talk about the relationship that you guys have. They're just so close. You have these talks. You're like this with each other. You're going, with family trips and stuff. Like, where's the moment come when you guys have that real talk with each other and say, hey, like, when we get in these moments, I don't like you calling this, or I think we should do this with the run game. You're saying, I want to get this personnel involved. Hey, I like Lipke here. He spoke about being high on Lipke when Lipke was having those. I think maybe 2 game run when he was making those fourth down conversions or making big plays. I don't know if it was a screenplay or just with the play where I think against the Steelers when he got to the 5 yard line, 4 yard line. So just like they I just want to see them kind of build a relationship, either Dak and CD, or a strong relationship as far as Dak McCarthy, to where they can tell the truth to each other. You know what I'm saying? How in these moments that when they get in these desperation mode, I just want to see something kind of break with this team to where they get tired themselves of being in having to fight back in all of these games.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I think, Mike and Dak and Mike and Shoddy, Mike and CD, sorry, Dak and Shoddy, Dak and CD. Obviously these guys they spend a tremendous amount of time together. And um, they spend a lot of time together in the building, outside of the building. Dak Mike McCarthy was the first person Dak even told that he was having a baby. So I
Yeah,
definitely I don't think that it's that their relationship that they can't, because CD said that. CD was like, it's because of our relationship that I can tell Dak, give me
right,
the jump ball. I don't have to mince my words. I don't have to say, oh, I can't say anything because I don't want to hurt Dak. Like, we are brothers, so I can tell him. And I feel like they be over there talking to one another. They're talking to each other every time we come off the field.
right.
The issue with them, this is my issue with Mike Schottenheimer and Dak. They all know the importance, because to me, what I think should be done is a commitment to physicality, a commitment to the run game. I
Absolutely.
know everybody has given up on it because they're like, they don't believe in it, but I'm like, no, we can't. We got to put pressure on the front office. Like, I mean, on Mike, on
Yeah,
on Schottenheimer. Like, they need the pressure, because
yeah,
I want you, Dak, to realize. I want you, Mike and Schottenheimer, to realize, like, hey, we need to have somebody just like Mike was to Kellen in 2022. You need somebody who's like, we are extremely out of balance right now. We can't get a rhythm right now. Like,
right,
we can't even get in a rhythm right now because these guys are teeing off on us because they have no respect for our run game. So they're just literally dropping 7 in the coverage. Like, it's the same shit
right,
Niners have been doing to us every time we play them. It's either
right.
play press man or drop forward. And this game, they weren't playing press man. All they was doing was getting pressure with 4, dropping 7 to 8 in coverage, and saying, hey, beat us with that, which is dumb. Like, you have to be able to run. What's up, Lou?
What's good,
You
Lou?
You have to be able to run these guys out of certain formations. That's what I'm saying. Like all the good teams do it. Like everybody's like, well, let's just weapon up. I'm like, we can weapon up. The the Eagles can't be more weaponed up.
Right. Facts.
Even with Kellen Moore over there, bro, they still run a freaking football. You got to run the ball. You're a quarterback, a single quarterback is not about to sit here and beat the best defenses in the league. If you think that you're,
Right.
or that's
Right.
happening, that's not happening.
Facts.
I'm tired of the BS. It's like you're shooting your own self in the foot. Everything, the passing game would open up if y'all create another threat. But if somebody knows that you're just gonna pass all day, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
Right.
get at it." And Zach Martin is having issues, and Terrence Steele is having issues, and you got two rookie offensive linemen. Oh,
Right.
please, for the love of God, please pass all day long.
Right. Right.
It's them.
I
Like
was just
it's
I,
really
I
just
was just gonna say that, and like I said, like you said, shout out to Lou's takes. I saw his breakdown when he was talking about veterans. You know, not like you mentioned the rookies on the line, but you mentioned Zach Martin, Tyler Smith. I'm saying, you know, who we thought would step up, you know, this
play
season.
well this past game. He did not play well. That probably has a lot to do with him kicking out to another position for 2 games and knocking him off. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, and what's good, Jay Money? We didn't mean to pass over you. We're just trying to get to the show. Shout out to everybody coming through. Cowboys abroad as well.
what's up
Purple
today?
Soul, Purple Soul coming through. Carl Whittington
And
coming
then
through as well.
we just flowing and talking. We apologize. We don't mean to ignore anybody.
Yeah,
Uh, and then people talking about Broadus said on the radio that Dak is still in the boot. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't really subscribe to much that Brian Broadus said. God
yeah.
bless him. If y'all whatever. But
And I didn't know he said that, but even if he was or not, like that doesn't,
saying
that
that
is
out of left field. Just
right,
another statement just out
right,
of left field. No one's saying that. No one's corroborating. Just another statement. You know what I'm saying?
right.
He said we just soft right now. I don't know why. Eh, I don't know. This is a good question. I was talking to Jazz Monet from Bitches Love Sports about this, and I think we see it differently because we are female, so we have a different perspective. But it seems to me that the men, y'all keep calling the team soft. Y'all say they soft, they soft, they soft. But I'm like, but y'all say before the games we just want to see fight. But you are seeing fight. Like
Right,
we didn't get blown out by the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
we
right.
didn't fight. But
Right,
then
and I don't mean to cut you off, but and we had some, some of a quote unquote comeback in the game. I mean, we didn't have no semblance of a comeback last year when we played them. So at least trying to come back in the game, I did like seeing that, and I like seeing the tussle on special teams. I just like the team
right,
came out
like
with a different attitude this time
exactly.
around.
That's why I named this show Implosion or Improving because everybody I feel like, and we could talk a little bit about the media, but it's like everybody continues to say like this team is imploding, they're imploding, they're imploding. They're not together, they're not brothers, but the players are like that is not true. This is what I'm saying. Like there is certain narratives. Like when Trayvon went out there and said that thing to Mike Leslie, the media took that and started asking everybody in the locker room, asking all the coaches, don't you think, should he be on Twitter? Shouldn't he have better things to worry about?
Right.
Be on
Like
Twitter.
why he's still in his uniform? Even
Right,
Calvin,
right.
not Calvin, but Clarence Hill was like asking McCarthy, should he's still in his uniform? Should he
Like
be on the phone?
exactly. Are y'all worried about the locker room fracturing? It's like, bruh. And then come to find out, shout out to Patrick Nosey Walker, and it was exactly what I said. I was like, he said Trey checked his phone because he was concerned about his brother. As y'all know, Stephon Diggs is out for the season because
Right.
he has a knee injury. Trey checked his phone. When he checked his phone, he's some people had already seen him screenshots of what Mike Leslie said. That's what I was trying to
Right.
explain to people. I'm like, y'all act like, and first of all, furthermore, everybody, if you've been without your phone for hours, when
Right.
you get a chance to check your phone, you're going to check your phone. Especially Trayvon is a father of 2 children. Like, there's a lot of reasons for Trayvon
Right.
to check his
Right.
phone. A lot.
Fact.
So what
Facts.
was the
There's grown adults out here texting and driving, doing Facebook while driving. I think well, we said there was a video I think went viral on Twitter the other day about someone a girl doing Candy Crush while driving on the highway. You know what I'm saying? Adults do crazy stuff on phones all the time. So someone checking the phone, just like you said, Star tweet earlier speak about adults when they get off work. I mean, people get off work. You get done at your child's play. For 2 hours. Oh, what's going on the phone? Like, let's not act like grown adults aren't attached to their phones at all time. And I'm not saying Trayvon Diggs is attached, but checking your phone, when you're quote unquote getting off work when he's coming off the field,
we're in
what
2020.
right,
Only person people who not worried about their phones is the elders because they barely know how to work.
right,
But everybody else, when you have your phone, if you have loved ones, if you have children, if you have businesses, if you have whatever the hell, you're on your phone 24/7.
right,
So, like I said, even if it's not for social media, for business or for whatever, you know what I'm saying? So
right,
he checked his phone and then he sees that and it was disrespectful. I'm glad that him and Mike made up and
right,
realized that because I'm not saying that the players need to start spazzing out on the media, but what I was saying was I am glad that this happened because now the media needs to think twice about the stuff that they tweet and the
yeah,
stuff that they be saying because the players feel like it's disrespectful. That's what I posted that on my Twitter with Mike and Trayvon. They were
right,
like, it feels weird because we talk to y'all and then y'all act all buddy buddy and stuff, and then y'all go and write these articles, or y'all just put out a portion of what we said on Twitter. So now
right,
everybody's turning against us.
right,
That's what we're talking about. Like that's what I call rage bait. When you just putting out, making bold statements and accusations, but you don't got
right,
no evidence. Putting out literally putting out just a random player's stats or just posting random pictures and all of this type of stuff is because
right,
this is what they want. They want to get that engagement and they want to make the whole thing this year, the whole theme is we suck, we're not we're not making the playoffs, and this is the one of the worst rosters in football. So because the media knows that, that's what they're going to keep putting things out to continue to perpetuate. We suck. This is the worst roster in football. You know,
right,
we're soft. We don't have any guys, or guys aren't tough. They're not
right,
strong, and all of these types of things. But I'm like, I don't really see that. I've seen that from my team in some games. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I mean, that happens to every team. But I feel like this team is just a team that we are facing a shit ton of injuries. We have a lot of young players.
yeah,
And right now, we're just in the midst of still trying to just figure shit out. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to find ourselves or whatever, to find
yeah,
our identity and gravitate to that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I don't see players who have given up on the season. I don't see that when I'm looking at the film. I don't see players who give up. I don't see players that just don't care, that have checked out.
right, right.
That's
Because
not what I see.
Right, because McCarthy kind of mentioned it too. Like, and he mentions it. What, every week, every other press conference he has with the media, he says like, "Hey, like," and not saying he's begging for support or begging for the positives from the media, but even he says like, "Hey, we like a little bit more support." Or even he had to say, and even Dak, I forget after which game where they lost, but I think he mentioned something like, "Hey, he even asked the media, hey, when you write about this, don't make it so bad because some of these guys, like you mentioned, are young. It's their first year in the NFL, or they're a lot of undrafted guys, you know what I'm saying, or even guys who are looking for a second chance. A lot of older guys are looking for a second chance that Zimmer was able to bring in. It's just like, hey, he didn't say the exact word, but he said, "Careful how you write this," or write this with care because some of these guys actually are reading, what you guys are writing. Maybe
That
Dak didn't say it in so many words, but Dak was like, "Hey, I stopped listening to Jerry. I don't read what you guys write." Or CD's like, "Hey, you love being that guy." You know what I'm saying? Clarence Hill, but there's certain guys who don't necessarily mess with the media like that, but you do have young guys who are not saying they're looking for the media for a validation, but they want to they want to know what's being said about them. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And everyone has that element about the human element of knowing of what's being written about them out there. You know what I'm saying?
Like everybody's going to be checking, especially celebrities. It's hard for everybody, like to not check, especially after a loss. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I think just a lot of it. These players are human beings. At the end of the day, like
Right.
players are human beings. I don't know why people want to
Yeah.
treat them because they have millions of dollars or whatever that they don't have feelings, that they don't act, they don't eat, sleep. It's
Right, right, and like you mentioned earlier, shout out to Jasmine Monet who keeps that component out there. You know what I'm saying? Keep that human element. That don't forget that these guys are human beings.
exactly
They just happen to be playing in the NFL.
right. Like they're a human being. They're a human being first, and then they're play.
Right,
Things after that. But it's like you got to realize like what everybody can say. Just block it out, block it out, block it out. But in the reality, they know what's being said. They're on social media.
right,
You
and
can
what half the media, all the media is on social media as well. The same Twitter that you guys are checking every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. These players on that same Twitter, reading these tweets that the media is putting out.
exactly. And it's like you can tell, you can say, "Oh, y'all need to just get off social media, delete the apps." But that's just not realistic.
Right, right,
Like it's not realistic. That's not. We're not. They're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
what these players do on their free time and stuff like that. Like
yeah,
I mean, you can try to be a tyrant, but they're gonna do what they want regardless. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I think that yeah, I just think that we as a fan base, and I appreciate what Rico said because that is true. That's why we have to watch what we say as new media because
right,
a lot of us are perpetuating that, this is over, this sucks. And when the reality is, it's like we have a young team and we're facing a lot of injuries.
yeah,
To me, the fact that we're even 3-4 is a miracle. When you look at the defensive roster, if you told everybody that all these players were out on the defensive side of the ball, but that
right,
y'all were 3-4 and that y'all would lose to San Fran by 6 points, no one would believe.
right,
No
and
one.
not just to mention the 49er game, but shout out to Outlaw Cowboy on Twitter. I think he put out a tweet a couple weeks ago. I think after the Lions loss, saying that if it wasn't for maybe a couple plays here or there in the Giants game and the Steelers game, we could potentially be what 2-6. You know what I'm saying? Maybe possibly even 1-7 with some of these close games. Because what the Steelers game came down to the final play. So if
Yeah,
Tolbert
we
had,
could
you know what
we
I'm saying? So
we could
these been
literally
close calls.
be 2 and wait, we 3-4. So we could
Oh,
literally be two
yeah,
and
2-5. Oh,
no 6. Wait, no,
yeah,
we
2-5 because we had the bye week.
5. Yeah,
Yeah,
we could literally very well be 2-5 right now.
yeah, yeah. And actually, after watching our game and then watching the Giants game, we're and no slight to my team, but we were actually. It seemed like a little bit like we are kind of battling for the bottom of the NFC East. The way that we were kind of, I know we had a bad quarter against the Niners, but and the Giants didn't really play that well. So it was just like we just a lot of boneheaded decisions that they were making in their game, and then the mistakes that we were making in our game. It's just like we definitely have to improve. Just kind of sum up, our loss against the, San Fran and kind of moving to Atlanta. I still, just speaking for me personally, I'm not out on the season. I definitely thought after the game that loss, like, okay, it definitely took a turn for me. I know I've seen some tweets out there, this week saying, "Oh, now y'all give up," or now you guys don't believe in this and third. And then, like I mentioned last week, I'm going to be all in the season because NFL season is only here one time, and I'm going to enjoy YT and I'm going to root for my team and be a fan in that respect. But at the same time, I want to look forward to the next week and just see, when I watch these other teams' games, like it's still there for me trying to find their weaknesses and maybe some of their strengths that hopefully we can capitalize on. We as we saw, I was trying to bring it up, I forgot about it while we are kind of talking, but we have Bland coming back this week potentially. I don't know if he's coming back to play, but making his return to practice anyway. I'll say that. Hopefully these full practices. Kalen Carson has had his second full week, I believe, of being a full participant at practice. They said Eric Kendricks was kind of limited, but we need, happily for me, I'll say, I'm sure for the fan base, to see him come back last week was huge. I mean, like you said, we played a close game with him. I'm glad for him to especially come back. I think we really need him in that game. Although he did have kind of an off game, they definitely took advantage of the matchup, with him and Debo. But I love that he was able to come back, and I think kind of gave a little bit more confidence to our team. And actually, speaking on that, I want to give a shout out to Golston. Really loved the game that Chauncey Golston played. I think he really stepped up. Brought a little bit of pressure. Carl Lawson as well. I think he got a little bit of pressure points here and there, but I do like the way that Golston stepped up. And I hope that we see the continuation of Zimmer, bringing some safety to the line, you know what I'm saying, and bringing that pressure in that way, because I think, just watching some of the game back with the Bucks in Atlanta, and just in general, we know that the Cousins can kind of be knocked off. You kind of speed up his clock, kind of knock him back, trying to get, because he has a lot of weapons over there, of course, that we know, but kind of putting pressure on that O line as well, because they have a very stable, really good O line over there. I believe they got the first round pick, Matt Bergeron over there. Of course, we know they have Bijan Robinson. So just I think if we kind of bring some of that pressure that we kind of brought, against the Niners, here and there, because we did, cause at times cause Purdy to kind of throw behind Debo Samuel. We kind of got off, got him off kilter a little bit. So I think that we kind of bring a little bit more, of some of the same plays, and even more than that, if we double it on that pressure that we're able to get on Purdy, I think we'll be able to, get some semblance of pressure on Kirk Cousins as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that like as far as, the season and stuff like that, like I'm gonna see the season. What's up, 100 grand? Got to see
Hey,
you.
100 man, what's good? What's good?
This is football. This is a football season. This football season is full of ups and it's full of downs. Like that's just how it goes. You're gonna go through peaks. You're gonna go through valleys. Right now we're clearly in a valley, but
Right.
the season is nowhere close to being over. Like we've only played one divisional game.
Facts.
Like we only
Facts.
played one divisional game and we won that divisional game. So, there's a lot of people that are out, and that's fine. Like people have to fan how they want to fan. And Jay, I don't know about Carson's shoulder. I do know that
Yeah.
he's a full participant today, so I
Yeah.
mean he should be back this
I
week.
think I think it might have happened in practice. I think he only played. I think he only played one game with us. One game with the Cowboys. Before, I think so. I think he had kind of got banged up in practice.
Wait, who you talking about?
Kalen Carson.
No, Caitlin played multiple games for us. He didn't just play one game.
I thought he just played the Browns game.
Mm-mm. He played the Browns game,
Oh, yeah,
the
the Ravens game. I'm tripping. I'm
the
tripping.
Ravens game, and the Saints game. I think he went out too after the Giants game. I think. But it is you got to fan how you want to fan. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be out on the season and look to the draft, then be out on the season and look to the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like no one is forcing anybody to do anything. Me personally, I'm just not throwing in the towel on the season because it's just too early for me to throw in the towel. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel. Now, Mike gets fired next week, or if we lose and we get mathematically eliminated, then I don't have no choice but to move on. And that's just it. But I feel like there's just a lot that can happen that can change over an NFL season. And you don't win a Super Bowl in September and you don't win a Super Bowl in October. And I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm just saying you don't win championships in September, October. You win them in January and February. So that's just
Yeah.
where my mindset is. And if we don't make it to the playoffs, then guess what? We don't make it to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We didn't make it. You move on. It's really as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I feel about it. But it's just too early for me to throw in the towel, and I waited too long of an off season to throw in the towel because we're having peaks and valleys like I knew we were. I fully expected us to lose more games this year. I said that. I said that before the season started. We were going to lose more games. You're
Yeah.
way younger. You're using a lot of new talent. You got a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I
With a
knew we were
playoff with a
right,
playoff schedule.
right with a number one schedule. So I knew we were going to lose more games. I don't
It's
know why
good,
everybody
landlord.
and we losing games. The only team that we didn't lose to that wasn't a good team was the Saints.
Right.
Everybody we lost to the 49ers, the Lions, the who else did we lose? Now wait, 49ers, Lions, Saints.
Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens, top team, like the best
Right.
team in the NFL. That's who we've lost against. And we barely lost against the Ravens, and we barely lost against the 49ers, half strength.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm just not. I just feel like when you look at everything, and what's up, landlord? Glad to see you, landlord. Y'all know landlord. Y'all know
Yeah.
subscribe to landlord, subscribe to Luke Tay. Both of them great content creators.
Yeah.
Uh, and I get that. I get that, Lou. Those things are frustrating, but it's like if the fan base could get united about that stuff, I think you would see change. You know what I'm saying? Like last year, we kept saying spam lamb. We kept saying where's Cook. Then this year, everybody kept
Right.
complaining about Dalvin Cook, so they finally elevated him. Like if we
Yeah. Yeah.
we keep
We didn't
complaining
even. Yeah.
about certain stuff, if you keep
Yeah.
complaining and monitoring the same stuff, they will say it. So if the whole fan base starts saying bench Donovan Wilson, they will have no choice because they're going to have the pressure. You know what I mean?
Right.
If the
Right.
whole base joins together and says run the ball, but we can't do that. We can't do that because people hate Zeke. So we can't rally and say run the ball.
Right.
Of course, in the
Right. And I'm glad you brought them up because I just realized we haven't had a chance to talk about the run game because I loved how Dalvin Cook looked. And I like how Zeke, and I'll say this for me, I was wrong because I was definitely disappointed, about Rico not playing this game. I really thought this would be able to his opportunity to be able to step up, have a big impact on the game. And of course, we know everything that was going on with that. But I was, I'm not gonna say surprised because I just like the burst that Zeke had in the game, and I like how they use Dalvin as well. Short dump offs in the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying, getting his legs kind of warmed a little bit. And they both had some great games. So I like what I saw from both running backs. Like you said, Star. Just if we just get some more attempts to really see, and not just attempts in general, but consecutive attempts. Back to back to not only allow these guys to get a groove going, but and that's something that Zeke was known for, right? Beating down the defense. Getting him.
he
Kind of
clearly
getting the defense primed up for Tony Pollard, right? So I'm just wondering why we're not following that same trajectory. Like, not saying that we have to you beat them down for a Dalvin Cook or hell. We even had Deuce active, but we saw Deuce on the sideline trying to keep himself warmed up because he didn't touch the field. I'm like,
I
we're
just
just
don't
not
know.
utilizing we're just not utilizing these players, Star.
Right, we're not using our talent like we should. We're not allowing these guys to run the damn ball. I don't know. But I'm just like, listen, all we can do is continue to put the pressure up. You know what I'm saying? We can't stop.
Right.
We can check
Yeah.
out. Like we didn't check out. Um, we didn't check out in 2020 when we had Andy Dalton and Garrett Gilbert as our quarterback. We didn't check out. So I just feel like, why would I check out now? Like,
Right. Right.
I'm not gonna check out on my team. Like that's just how I feel about it.
Right.
It's
And we
no
have guys coming back.
right, and we have guys coming back. It's no judgment to anybody who's checked out. If you checked out, that's fine. Great. I'll probably tune into your videos once we get eliminated from playoffs so that I can get caught up on draft stuff. That's
Right.
fine. I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna give up on these guys, and I don't have to give up on them to not get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I know a lot of people
Right.
that you check out now because I don't want to get hope. Because if I hope and then we lose and then I'm gonna be upset. It's like I don't need to
Right.
check out so that I don't like get disappointed. Like you just
Disappointing.
gotta see shit for how it is. It's football. It's up and down. Everybody not about to win. No one wins the Super Bowl but one team, and only seven
Right.
teams. I think only 7 teams make the playoffs.
Right. Right.
Seven from each conference. So 14. Only 14 teams make the playoffs out of
Yep,
30.
and about four of them only there for 1 week. Only four of them only get to enjoy it for one weekend.
So
And,
it's like
and
you
we
gotta
was one of those teams,
yeah,
though. We were one of those teams.
because you
So
just never know what can happen, bro. You never know how injuries could affect other teams. You
right,
never know
right,
how you get back another player. You never know if you can figure shit out. It's like you just don't know. So I feel
right,
like just saying it's over, it's done. Like that is just you feeling like I need to check out because it's what's best for your mental health. And if that's the case,
yeah,
then do that, please. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all having bad mental health over the Cowboys. It's not worth that. I
right,
I have emotional ties to my team, but I also see it as what it is. It's entertainment. It's sport.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Exactly, exactly.
Like it's just entertainment. So I'm not gonna punch my TV or burn my jersey
Right.
or do all this crazy stuff because we lost. Like it's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? If we
Hmm.
then we if we lose and we have a loser record at the end of the season, that's just what it
Then
is. We
right,
prepare
then you start preparing for the next year. I mean, it's just the same
it's
thing we do that
sport.
fans do every year, y'all. It's nothing. I think it's just because like, and I'm not, and
We're used
I'm a
to
fan
winning.
too. So
We're used to winning. That's what it is. We're used to winning.
period,
Go ahead and
period.
say it. We've been a winning organization for the past 3 years. We're used to blowing people out all the time and putting up 40 and 50 and 30 burgers.
Right, right,
We're not doing that this year. So
right.
and we're like, we suck. I get it. I get it.
Right. And just to kind of, I watched this past game this past weekend of, I mean, because even the first time these two teams met, the Bucks and the Falcons, they had, pretty much a fireworks game. So I really just kind of wanted to watch their game to just kind of get a feel of maybe just what of Atlanta can present for us. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, they have a lot of weapons over there. They're just what's craziest for me. They have Jake London, Bijan Robinson, even now Algier, the backup running back. Kind of like I wouldn't say workhorse because Bijan just get a lot of run, but as far as like we talked about earlier, kind of beating down the defense, kind of their power runner,
Like
like
power runner.
Algier.
Yeah, he's their power runner.
Yeah, Algier is that, and their closer as well. So if it is a close game, I'm saying that if it does come down, because Atlanta has had, that's one thing they've had. Well, one of the things they've had this year is close games with Philly, with the Chiefs, Cowboys Nation. The Atlanta came down to the wire pretty much with the Chiefs, y'all. So I'm saying, and in primetime games, that's one thing. Well, even me as a fan made fun of with Kirk Cousins, right? Primetime Kirk, I'm saying he gave that a whole new meaning, at least for me, when they came down to the wire
Right.
against the Chiefs. I'm saying, even Philly, I give them that respect. A last minute drive in their city, that hostile environment is nothing to joke with. We know about it,
What you
from year
saying?
to year.
This
You
is
know what I'm
not
saying?
the same old,
Right,
not the same old Falcons.
right.
Good team. This is a good Falcons team, and I mean they're pretty good. They have a pretty good. They have a top. I think they have a top 5 offensive line.
Right.
Uh, Clearly you got Bijan Robinson, superstar. Then you got Algier, who is like you said, that's like their enforcer, their power back.
Yeah.
Then you got Cal Pitts. Then you got
Who they're
Drake
just, I mean, could drop who they're just now really starting to utilize like that. He's just
White.
not catching fire. You
He
know what I'm saying?
finally got a real quarterback. So it's like now you got Cal Pitts. Now you got Drake London.
Right.
Then
Mooney.
Mooney, who's getting a lot of targets. Kirk
Right.
Cousins.
They're deep threat. Yeah. And it's not like he's new or anything because he was that deep threat when he played with Chicago, a couple years or a few years back. Hey, shout out to JBB boy coming through, coming in through under the wire. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? But yeah, Mooney, definitely their deep threat, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily I guess for me, in my opinion, it depends on what week it is because he can be their red zone threat, he can be their end zone threat. But I know that Kirk Cousins just like to spread the ball around, and Drake London can't find himself in the end zone as well. So it's gonna be they're gonna have to show real awareness. They're gonna show real awareness in the secondary this week. They're gonna
Right.
show real awareness.
Real awareness. You're gonna have to make sure you got the proper matchup. Like if you put Donovan Wilson on Cal Pitts,
It's done. Don't even and that's one of their and not deep threat, but this we talked about earlier the middle of the field being open. Their seam routes on even
right?
and we have to be careful on third and fourth down because that's one thing they're not afraid to go for it on fourth down early in the game. So Kyle Pitts, yeah,
They
like
got a new coach now. Now they got Raheem Morris, and he done brought up a whole new attitude to that team.
right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I
and
think
and that defensive mindset.
too. They got better defensively because
I
you
was
got
gonna say.
Judon, you got
Yeah, yeah. The Ellis, I don't know his first name, but Ellis leads their team in tackles. Jesse Bates, their ball hawk. D. Alford,
safety,
AJ Terrell.
AJ Terrell.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. They
that,
got some guys.
that
Yeah,
defense is good.
yeah.
That offense is good, and they're not injured like we're injured.
Right, right, and they do run some 12 personnel. You know what I'm saying? So when not only looking out for Kyle Pitts, and I'm not saying the other tight end Charlie Warner is a necessarily maybe a pass catching threat, but definitely how we use Schoonmaker as far as run blocking. They're saying he's as far as from their team top tier. You know what I'm saying as far as run blocking. So when they do run those two tight end sets, you know what I'm saying, and they run a lot of screens too. I mean, cut you off, sis, but they run a lot of screens. So be aware of some of that activity in the backfield. They use a lot of motion as well. So they got to use their eyes. Our defense is going to have to use their eyes in this game, sis.
Defense, yeah. I mean, this is basically. I mean, you had a good thing you played the 49ers the week before, so
Yeah.
you can kind of. I mean, that's motion and running the ball, and like so, it's like clearly it's a lot of things that they're going to do that's similar. It's like scheme wise. No, it's not the same.
Right.
I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, but I do know they
Yeah.
do play action,
Yeah.
motion, a lot of those things. But just gotta think like even with all of that transpired during versus the 49ers, you still had a chance to win that game. Mike just called
Right.
4 awful plays in a row. I don't know what he was thinking, but also Turpin did drop the ball, but that was just a low percentage play, anyways. But
Right.
with that, you still had a chance to win that game. And so that's basically what we're trying to do. What we want the defense to do is just survive out there, guys.
Yeah.
Survive, get us the ball back. Don't just be allowing touchdowns on every drive. And then you
Yes. Yes.
chance to
Huge point.
score. The positive of last game is that I do think Dak and CD have found the rhythm again.
Yeah.
All we need to do, I just need us to run the ball. And if we run the ball, everything else will flow from it. But if
Right.
we're not gonna run the ball, I feel like this is a team where it's like maybe you don't gotta run the ball as much because they're a good team, but I'm not as fearful of their defense even with the added pieces.
Yeah.
But it's time, Mike, to start scheming for your best players.
Yeah.
You gotta start scheming for your best. If
Yeah,
you're not
scheme
doing
for Jake. This could be a Jake game. This could be. I mean, not just because it was National Tight End Day, but it's Cade Otton. What the number 3 option over there? Maybe the number 4. When their guys are healthy over there. As far as the Bucks, when they played last week, Cade Otton turned up. You know what I'm saying? Had 2 touchdowns. I forget the number as far as yardage, but he turned up. So if we could just find some escape artists, some middle of the field action like we spoke about earlier, like we and this defense is not impenetrable. You know what I'm saying? And running the ball too. So I think this could be a game where we spoke about. I think in the beginning of the show, we could really if we have the attempts, I think this could be a game that that we can kind of settle into the run game. I know we say that every week, Cowboys Nation, but it's we have opportunities. It's just a matter of being consistent and being persistent with it.
matter of being consistent and sticking with it. It really is that simple. And it's like if you're not gonna do that and you want to basically continue your West Coast principle where you do long handoffs and short passes and stuff, and then you pass the ball to set up the run, okay, well that can work, but you're going to have to start targeting your best players
Yeah.
more than roll out with Jake Ferguson, more than continuing to make Jalen Tolbert your fifth read. Like he is your wide receiver 2 right now. I know people say he's not wide receiver 2. I don't care.
Right.
Like
I
he's your
agree.
wide receiver 2 right now until Cooks comes back. So target him. When you
Right.
targeted him a lot, the last time we won the game. So maybe if you target him, I don't know. Maybe
Right.
we try it. Maybe we
Right.
should try it. Like, what do we got to lose? What do we have to lose? By
Exactly.
saying, you know what? Let's just try to target the guy that's supposed to be our number 2 right now, and let's just see what happens. If
Right.
he's
Who has
all
pretty much had the best relationship with Dak? He built the relationship in the offseason with Dak for a reason.
exactly like if Jalen Tolbert just drops the ball and fumbling, okay, but I have a real high chance that he's not going to do that. That he's
Right.
not going to catch a lot of balls. He's going to help us out a lot, and it's going to open things up. That's what I think. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It could just be a conspiracy theory. But
Right.
I'm just saying, like, utilize your other weapons. You have to in this. This is the NFL. You have to make your players weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like good coach,
Right.
you got to make your players weapons. Like you have to scheme for these guys and try to get these guys. You gotta say, yeah, they're gonna be a problem because I'm gonna make sure they're involved in the game plan. But
Right.
to me, it seems like CD's the game plan, and then everybody else just get in where you fit in. But that's not gonna work
Yeah.
this year. That's not gonna work because teams are playing us differently. Like I don't know.
No, no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, it's kind of like that was kind of one thing I took from camp. I'll say is that I mean that's not even one thing I took from camp. Like, that's one thing that they were kind of singing in camp. Like, well, CD isn't here. The other guys are getting the relationship with Dak. They're getting that time. They're getting the first team reps. But it's like okay, they built that relationship. They built that chemistry, quote unquote. Let's see it. Like, let's you
Let's
know what I'm
see
saying. Like
it.
let's.
Let's see it.
It's, so at the same time, and I know I know at the same time they wanted to get CD ramped up at the same time, but it's like
Like
you're kind of hindering their process. They spent all these weeks getting together with Dak, and all of a sudden you just
exactly.
cut it
But
off.
in the fourth read, he getting 3 measly targets a game. And
Right.
I my post because I done did the work. I done went through all the wide receiver twos and the rookie wide receivers. I'm gonna make a post about it because there's a key difference. Like everybody's like, well, you need the production and you need this and you need that. And I'm like,
Right.
not only does Jalen Tolbert, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to post it. I'm supposed to leave it alone. But it's just like, listen, just start targeting your best players that have shown to be reliable. We got
Right.
to have this experimentation process. I think he tried to
Right.
experiment with Turp in that way. Let's not see it again. I
Yeah,
don't.
because we were talking about that with the running back room. I mean, and now it doesn't even not it doesn't even just pertain to the running back room. Now it's kind of getting kind of leaking over to the wide receiver room where you're not getting all the guys involved. And you want to get all the guys involved, but you're not giving them a chance to get their chemistry going.
Right, you're not giving them the target. I'm gonna say it
Right.
different. You're not giving them the target.
Right.
You're not targeting Tolbert. You're not targeting Jake Ferguson. So we wonder, like, oh, their stats are down. They not getting the targets. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Part
Yeah.
of that is because of offensive line, but I'm like, it's also get these guys involved. There's other ways to get these guys involved. Quick screens,
Yeah.
orbit screens. It's just different things that end arounds. There's just so much stuff that you could do. Jet sweeps
Yeah.
that you can do to just get these guys get their hands on the ball.
Yeah, and I
But
didn't even think it was possible. We're even seeing less Schoonmaker this year, and even Schoonmaker has some schemed up.
exactly,
In last season, season's play
yeah, we're not even using like Schoon has been completely been
a
eliminated.
ghost,
And
bro.
we're going to Brevin Span Ford.
You feel me? Like Schoonmaker had that one target, and I thought maybe if you're gonna go back to the end zone to a tight end, that you would have at least revisited Schoonmaker before trying to go to a Brevin Sport.
Is that
And once again, a big moment. A rookie, you have to build up, and even not even just to get him involved, but he's a rookie. He shouldn't be getting, you know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be getting more up on Schoonmaker, bro. Like, come on.
the 49 versus the
Facts.
Panthers? Go
Facts.
ahead. Go
Right.
ahead. Your chance.
Right.
Against the 49ers, that's who we targeted in the red zone.
Right. And I think if that was Schoonmaker in that position, I think he would have caught the ball because
Yeah,
I think they
he
mentioned
would've
on
caught it.
I think they mentioned on the broadcast like someone with more and we talked about that last year, and that's funny because in last year's 49ers game we talked about them scheming up things for Schoonmaker when you have a Ferguson. But now, which is crazy, now we're talking about scheming up for Schoonmaker. I mean, scheming up for Brevin Spencer when you have a Schoonmaker. At least if you're not going to target Ferguson in the end zone, at least target Schoonmaker more than one time, and he probably would have caught it.
Exactly. The game where we targeted Schoon. Schoon was catching everything. He was one hand catching. Then we say eliminate you. Like what?
I
Like
don't get
what
it.
are
I don't
you
get you can't even point out his favorites anymore because it's just like you're taking everybody out the game plan, bro.
It's just this multiple personnel BS that I think is Mike Dak and Shoddy. Let's just use this multiple personnel and
Right,
just
right.
put him here, and then we'll do this here. It is stupid. It's stupid, and you think you're smarter, and you're really dumb. You are really dumb.
Right, right,
That's
right. And I don't know if they're getting that microwave mentality where they want things to happen so fast, but it's like you got to build. You see these other teams. We always kind of go back to the playoff games.
Glad to see you, David. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, it was good, David. It was good, David.
My guy Darren Posey as well. I don't know if you still in the chat, but I don't know if I
Yeah, I
said
did see him come through earlier. Yeah, shout out to Darren Posey as well. Facts. But yeah, we talk about the playoff games last season real quickly. Just talk about how how they had the run game, how they're able to stop the run. But it's just like we see the winning formula, quote unquote, to kind of beat these
we
tougher
have
teams. But
it's simple.
we just
Run the ball, do screens like everybody does it. I'm looking at the Chiefs. I'm looking at the Ravens. I'm looking at the 49ers. I'm looking at the Lions.
Facts.
Run
Hell,
the ball.
the team we were about to face this week. Not saying they're the Lions, but they have a running back duo. Hello, Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
get it going. I'm just so tired of this. Like, coaches, figure it out.
Yeah.
Your time is ticking. Your time is ticking.
Yeah, you can only say it for so long where it's early in the season, we're getting it together. We're still working. We have a young team. We get it, McCarthy. We understand. Some of us fans do understand that you're working with a young team, fresh faces, new scheme, new coaching staff, new this, new that. We understand, but it's like at some point, when do you get it together? You're talking about, I just came from a long meeting. I just came from this. We were doing this. I had to cut the meeting short because I had to come here. Okay, so what do you get from these meetings?
What y'all really talk about? Because Mike said it too. the offensive staff, we just kicked ourselves in the ass because we just keep messing up. It's like,
Right.
bro, we don't want to hear that, bro. Like, get
Right.
better or shut up or get out of here. Because at
Thank
this
you.
point, I'm over it. Like,
Thank
the
you.
coaches are screwing us. Like, stop screwing us and coach
Right.
better and call these plays better. Because
Right.
no one else is to blame. It's y'all. No one else is
Yeah.
to blame.
Yeah.
No one else is to blame. Like, even if, Jerry with they meddling ways and all that, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're the one calling the plays.
Thanks. Especially when your only not your only excuse, but especially when your first go to is, oh, we just need the attempts. We haven't had the attempts, and it's just like, okay, either you come up with a different excuse or actually get some attempts. Like, bro, like even if you're losing, you can still run the ball. Okay, well, we want to run the clock out. Let's run the ball.
Exactly.
At some point, you got to get the chemistry going. You can't just say, oh, well, the game got away from us.
That's what I'm saying. If we need. That's what I'm saying. We have to focus on our core group of guys.
Right.
And get them the ball. Get the players the ball that have shown that they will catch the ball for Dak and be reliable targets. Stop. Use players how we have used them. Stop the dumb stuff. Stop the. What are these potatoes we hate?
Yeah, remember Mike McCarthy wanted to holler out, oh yeah, I would have had all these play
Yeah,
sheets.
I have all these plays. It's like, Mike.
He getting caught with his foot in his mouth a whole lot.
Mike, you have the plays because we be seeing it like, wow, this is a cool play design. But then you're not going back to it. It's like, what are you doing? That's what I'm saying. I feel like some of this stuff too is like a carry on from Kellen Moore, where we want to be kind of like this no identity. Let's just roll out all of these different types of players because if it's this player that they won't know that the ball is going to. It's like, yeah, that's
right.
good. Y'all are trying to be like this guru, all of this stuff. It sounds, but it's not working, and it's chemistry. So in order for your guys to get better, they need the reps. They need the targets over and over and over and over again. And then the idea is let's make our gadget guy the wide receiver 2 versus the 49ers. That's what we'll do.
No, makes sense.
Y'all bought into that stupid ass game plan? Like y'all say, yep, that's it.
I 100% agree with you because it's like, thank you. Like that's what y'all sound like when y'all say stuff like that. Like, thank you, Star. Thank you, Star. Because it's just like we have the and they laugh at fans when we say we have the guys and we can say we don't have the big names. We don't have necessarily all the weapons that we need, but
we have.
I do still believe we have a semblance of a roster. We can put some things together. Right.
You're just erasing them. You're erasing Lukey from game plans. You're erasing Jalen Tober. You're erasing Jake Ferguson. Like you're erasing these guys from game plans. You're erasing Spoon now. Like
our players are having career lows in their stats. Every time they flash something, CD Lamb, Dak Prescott,
our everybody
our O line.
The whole everybody on the offense is like we've completely regressed.
Right.
And it is like Mike, you on your way out. Like you was at Green Bay, Mike. Like you on your way out.
Thank you.
Don't figure this shit out and stop. I'm tired of these excuses. You can go out there and blame Jerry for running back by committee. All of a sudden, I didn't want this. It's like Mike, I'm tired of it, Mike. I really am.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Because you could have said that in camp, dog. You could have said, I don't prefer running back up coming, but I have experience. I can do this. I can do that.
But now it's I didn't want this. Like, stop with the blame game.
Yeah.
You don't have nobody to blame. You're calling the plays.
Right.
Stop. You're calling the plays. Jerry is not calling you on the sideline and saying the plays. No, he's not.
That's facts, man.
And the same thing with Zimmer. Like, when you saw Donovan getting targeted, you should have made the adjustment.
Yeah. Especially
your players can see. Trayvon said it like we didn't adjust.
Right.
Adjust. Like I don't care who the player is. If they're getting cooked, you got to adjust.
And your coordinator right there. My thing was okay. Well, Quinn's up in the box. You can't call over. You can do the Zimmer's right there. You know what I'm saying, y'all side by side on the sideline. So it's should be no reason, no excuse as to why you can't get with your guy and say, hey, I know it's your guy's being targeted. Let's try to at least. It's week 6 or not week 7, week 8. I know we had to bye. Let's try to bring in some of these young guys. I get kind of tired of seeing Izzy and Wanya only in for a couple plays and then they go right back out. It's like, come on, like let's see what they have.
when we see Izzy in there for one blitz, like, bruh,
I get so I get so sad because it's like they need the opportunity.
like this is just so stupid. I'm just, it's
Yeah.
like we're like broken records every week.
Yeah.
It's like this is getting crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I guess all the pressure or whatever is getting to these coaches, but it's like just be better. Please
Yeah.
be better. You
At
know,
this point.
versus
Yeah.
Atlanta, can we please just be better and come up with a real game plan and stick with that
Yes.
plan and stop
Yes. Because it's
play?
not getting easier. What? Right after that, we got Philly and then
Yeah,
the Texans on short weeks.
right.
Short weeks, man.
Like we just gotta be better. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this
Yeah.
starts from the coaching. It starts
Right.
from the coaching on
And
that.
that's why it was such a, at least for me, it's such of a gut punch to be coming out of bye week, still looking unprepared because we know we have a haul coming up as far as the schedule, and then because I just learned today about the short schedule as far as I think we play Texans on Thursday night, so it's just like y'all gonna have time to make the decision. That was kind of not an excuse, but that was kind of thing they said with the Giants, like, well, we couldn't do too much adjusting during the week because of the short week. So when you have a team like the Texans
Yeah, yeah.
that
That's
you're going to be facing if
y'all,
you can't make many adjustments with, you know what I'm saying? Coming off a game against Philly, like you don't have time for this. Oh, we couldn't do this. We were off in this. We had a bad practice. We had a problem with this. Like these teams are getting tougher, and we haven't had a cupcake schedule up till now, but
no, it's
it's just not going to get easier.
this
You know what
whole
I'm saying? So
hard. Like we have just a hard schedule. Just like week after week, we're playing potential playoff teams. So
right,
the coaches just need to get it together because eventually, like, you will lose the locker room because they're just gonna be like, "You ninjas don't know what y'all doing."
right.
It's like we had the game plan. I was like, "Oh yeah." When how we started off, I said, "Oh yeah, we gonna win this game."
I really felt.
And
I
then
mean, now I meant to say that earlier. We stopped the 49ers from scoring a touchdown in the first half.
and then they
No,
no touchdown, and then you just wet the bed in the third quarter. Like,
right,
coach better because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Cause see, you know, you could blame Kellen Moore and all that stuff when he was here, Mike, but he's not here no more. So to just stop with the BS. But anyway, we can wrap up. I really
yeah,
appreciate all y'all in the chat. Uh, y'all are, you know, great supporters,
yeah.
and we really appreciate y'all rocking with us and you know, being here. We gave y'all a little bit longer of a show, but y'all know to please, you know, like the video on your way out, share and subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, and
Yeah,
donate to our cash app. Donate to our cash app.
yes, yes, please, yes, please. That's very important. Like she said, yes, please donate if you guys are in a giving mood. Hit like, share, subscribe. If you're on any other platform besides YouTube, come on over our side. Just really quickly, even just for a second, you know, give us a hit on that like button. We really do appreciate it. You know, as we do, like you said, as we close out, really appreciate everybody who came through and being active in the chat. Once again, sorry we couldn't get to everybody's comments because there were a lot of comments. You know, what I'm saying I ain't gonna lie, there were a lot of comments that we couldn't get to and that we couldn't actually answer too. 'Cause I know you guys asked some questions about, you know, coaching and personnel and things like that, and we really do appreciate you guys coming through. And you know, we'll try to, you know, get more to you comments into you guys' comments next week. So make sure you guys stay tuned. You know, for our next show. Hopefully, we come out with a dub. You know, versus Atlanta. You know, play tougher and like Star said, come with some consistency. Hopefully, with the coaching staff, the players as well. Because we saw, like you said, we saw some positives in this game. Hopefully, we can capitalize off those positives and take them forward and facing this Atlanta team. Because, like you mentioned, it's not going to get easier. And with this Atlanta team, you know, it's definitely going to be different as far as offense, defense. You know, and that's one thing I meant to mention. Sorry to add this in, but I definitely want to mention ball security because with this Atlanta's defense, I think they had 2 turnovers in the first half alone. I think this past week against the Bucks, and they love reaching for the ball and snatching that ball out. So, and this, you know, with Turpin having that fumble last week, you know, it wasn't just, I don't know about the season, but you know, Rico having some ball security issues as well, you know, last season. But it's definitely one thing I want to see is just some ball security in this game because we can't afford turnovers. You know, that's one thing we can't afford. And I want to see some turnovers, too, from the defense. You know, we were able to hold the 49ers to no touchdowns in the first half, but I want to see some turnovers, too, you know, and against this Atlanta team. That's definitely one different thing I want to see from the defense going forward. So, yeah, really appreciate you guys' time. And appreciate your time, too, Star. I'll see you next week. And thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Love you guys, and good night.